Roxella TV. Roxella TV. Roxella TV. Roxella TV. Roxella TV. Roxella TV.
It's such a big event for a musician to have a vinyl record in their hands for the first time. Do you recall that moment for you?
Well, for me, I came through 78s and then LPs, we used to call them. And I think one of the incredible moments, I knew this friend. We were in school together, but then I started doing some odd jobs for a husband, and she gave me the first album by James Brown. And in Liverpool in those days, it was like about 58, 59, something like that. And that was like, wow. So yeah, but even bigger than that was when the Beatles made a record and we held that little 45 vinyl. That was incredible. You know, that was a mind blower.
That's the ultimate, yeah. So after the Beatles stopped touring in '66, it took 23 years for you to get back out on the road again, and you're out to stay.
Well, I had done some gigs. I played with Bob at a gig, and I played with the Beach Boys in Washington one time, and so there was odd stuff, and I was, you know, hanging out with other musicians, sometimes playing with them, but then I sort of slowed down a lot, you know, and I didn't want to go on tour, and was just hanging out. And then it just seemed to be the right time. You know, everybody knows my story. I ended up in the rehab in '88, and I put the first All Stars together in '89, because that's the difference. Yeah.
What was it like that first show where you were the front man of
Yeah,
the
I know.
show? What was that like in
Well,
'89?
before that, I was terrified. I mean, I said yes, and then, well, now you got to carry on. And so I just took out my phone book. In those days, children, we used to have books. And I started calling people like Dr. John, like Mac, Joe Walsh, Nils. And then I thought, oh, yeah, you know, I need, Levon. And so I was so insecure, I had three drummers, I'm being one of them, and Levon on this side and Jim Kelton on this side, you know, and we had Rick. And so it was, and Billy Preston, it was like far out. And anyway, it was a great band and I had a great time. And so, as you can tell, I've been doing it ever since.
And We're on the Road Again, the lead-off track from the new record, espouses that love of what you do.
Yeah. Yeah, that was funny. I mean, you must have heard it because, you know, On the Road Again by Willie. And I thought, oh, we're on the road. Yeah, we're a band. So that's how we got over that. Yeah, and it rocks. And it's Lukather and I. We wrote it. And, you know, I have a lot of really incredible musician friends who do me the favor. They come over, they hang out, they play, you know, we write or whatever. And that's how I make the records now. I have a lot of fun making them. And, you know, I get to jam with a lot of really cool guys.
Well, you've written songs on your own, obviously.
I have.
Starting back with Don't Pass Me By, but you've always worked with people. You've always enjoyed that collaborative spark. Talk a bit about that collaborative spark with all the artists that you work with.
Well, you see, if we have a title, any of the co-writers on my record, we only need a title. We'll write you a song. And, but because it's my record, it's usually directed into a peace and love moment, you know?
People were talking about how rock is dead. Now, I certainly don't ascribe by that, but there are some people saying that rock and roll as we love rock and roll is not happening anymore. What's your prognosis on what?
Well, are we rock and roll? I mean, I was in the biggest pop band. They didn't even call us rock and roll. You know, I think we relate to rock, you know, from Eddie Cochran to Chuck Berry. They were the first, like, big guys in my life. And Little Richard did everything swing. You know, that was far out. But I think we feel we're rocking. But I don't know who these people are who are saying as rock and roll is dead.
Yeah. In terms of what you do, in terms of writing, when do you think you really found your groove as a songwriter? Obviously, you wrote some songs and co-wrote songs with the Beatles.
Yeah.
When did you find that groove?
Well, you know, I had been writing and, you know, Don't Pass Me By and things like that. And then I would write. Why I started calling George Harrison, I would write 20 verses because I never knew how to end them. And so I'd say, you want to, I got this backup boogaloo, say, you know, it goes on forever. And he'd say some words, I mean, he'd write some words, and Photograph was the same. And I had a song that had 47 verses, like Bob Bloody Dylan. And I gave it to Harry Nilsson to edit, and he got it down to 17. And I still haven't recorded it. It's long.
Rock Salad TV. 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 Rock Salad TV.